Waneri is scary. Yeah, I said this before, yeah, and even sometimes I didn't really know how good he was. Like I know I can see that he's got this talent, but I think him playing on the right suits him more so than it does on in the central. Because I feel like when you're in the central, you gotta be a bit more mature. On the right, you can do a bit more of your madness and be a bit more selfish. But he's a scary player, man. Like he just knows exactly what to do. He knows exactly what to do, when to do it. Like, and one thing he does as well, whenever he does, whenever he runs all the time on his right foot, like he'll get the ball and just run at your man on the outside, even though he's left footed. He doesn't do too much cutting in. So when he does decide to cut in, you don't even know when he's gonna do it. Yeah, scary player. Scary player, man. 17 years old, scary player. But today's game was man the match today. Today was Party's match. Man the match. Calafiori had a bad game, obviously. But one thing about Calafiori is he wins all his headers. So even though he had a bad game, like they only had one attack, really. They only really had one attack. But Calafiori had a bad game because he was kind of doing little things like little mini Zinchenko today. Not quite as bad, but mini Zinchenko. But he won all his headers. So it's like you're winning all your headers, but then on the ground, it's like, oh yes, you're a bit of a weakness, but not too much of a weakness, but still a weakness, isn't it? So it was a bit itty bitty from Calafiori today. We didn't play badly today. We played okay today. We didn't have a bad game today, man. It wasn't a bad game. Like before the game, we was on live with hooks and chinks, and when we saw the team, we was thinking it's not too bad. Like Marino quietly steady. Odegaard had a poor game, but even his poor game still helps our team because it's like quietly steady. Like the way he plays suits our team, innit? So if he has a good game, we create million chances. If we have a bad game, we only create one or two, no, two or three or four. But yeah, man, I'm happy with that performance today, man. We didn't play badly at all. We didn't play badly at all. Brentford's away is a hard game. Like they scored first as well. We didn't play badly. We got this habit of teams like on the break and scoring first. Happened at Fulham. It happened today, and we've got to try and claw our way back in. But we need to stop trying to claw our way back in. But this is life without Saka that we're getting used to. And if we stick with Ranieri on the right, I'm happy with this. Like I don't know what he's gonna do about um Havertz coming back into the team, but that's a question for another day. But yeah, let me get into the player ratings. Um, David Raya, he had one shot where he went through his gloves and he had to claw it away, and I think that might have been was that a 1-0 or was that a 1-0 down? Not too sure. He had to claw it away. So apart from that, he had a brilliant game because there was a couple of times where they broke away and they would cross the ball and it could have potentially been 1-on-1, and he was always there. He always cutting out the cross. He was always catching everything. So he did everything apart from one thing. Even the goal where Bremo cuts in and shoots on the near post, he's got to start dealing with this near post thing that he's got. Like he tries to always like he always tries to like anticipate where the ball's going. So 9 times out of 10 it works, but when it doesn't work, he'll just way out of position. So David Raya today, because of the mishap, he gets a 6 today. Even though he wasn't bad, but he gets a 6 purely because he nearly had a howler. So he gets a 6 from that as well. Timber, solid man. Whoever was playing on it, was it Lewis Potter on their side? They had nothing. Timber was right back today. Solid man, always. Timber just does his thing. And he even got a yellow card and he misses the next game and he shouldn't even have got a yellow card. That weren't no yellow card. Timber solid as he always is, man. He gets a solid 7. Timber's always a 7 or 8, man. Top player, man. Saliba gets a 8. Like even pushing a 9. Like Saliba was top class today, man. Easy for him. Easy for Saliba today, man. Top player. Wissa had nothing at all. Saliba gets a 8. If I could do half points, I would. But yeah, he gets an 8. Class. Same as Gabriel. 8 again. Them two at the back are rock solid, man. Like all this conceding goals, very rarely is it one of their fault. Do you know what I'm saying? Like very rarely is it one of their fault. But I'll give Gabriel an 8 as well because we had nothing today. They only had one attack. I don't remember any other attack they had. All the corners, Couple corners they had, cleared them. Couple free kicks. That's what they had. Now Wissa gets an 8. I mean Wissa. Gabriel gets an 8 today. Calafiori, yeah, he had a bad game today, but he had a bad game overall. But he had some good moments because he's got this thing where he gets the ball and drives forward and drives past everyone, and it's like, okay, you still do it. You still got things to you. Then you got some bad moments where you couple defensive lapses, but then you win all your headers. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but yeah, overall, he had a bad game because as a defender, we need a bit more consistency than that. So Calafiori and on the goal as well, he kind of tried to back off of Mbemo, and Mbemo kind of got an early shot and it went in. And it's just unfortunate. If it doesn't go in, you don't really think too much that Calafiori had a bad game, but it did go in. So he gets a 5. He gets a 5, man. Yeah, because of that alone. Party, man of the match. Party's man of the match. Like Party gets a 9 today. He would maybe an 8, but because I make him up, but Party was just, I don't know, this guy is just ridiculous, man. He is ridiculous. So he gets a 9 today. I'm keep sticking by it, actually. I'm not marking him down. He was phenomenal in the middle of the park. Marino was beside him. Marino's got this thing here where it's like he doesn't really do anything. Yeah, but he helps he's like a strong, not doing anything midfielder, but then kind of helps the team just tick along. Do you know what I'm saying? It's quite an underrated player, but then he doesn't really do much. He scored today, but then he doesn't do much. But then it's like, if you got Marino on the pitch, you're not thinking about, oh, I wish he wasn't playing. Do you know what I'm saying? It's one of them ones where it's like, it's not a liability, but he's also not a super help. He's got a really weird way of playing. It's quite hard. I think he's a phenomenal squad player. That's how I would judge it. He's as good as you're gonna get as a squad player. So that's how I would judge it, kind of thing. He gets a standard 7 today. He was decent today. Hitting him next to Party was fine today. They're just two slow guys in the middle, but they're good on the ball. They're both strong, and he scored as well. So he gets a 7. Odegaard, under par today, under par. But again, quietly does okay, but not the Odegaard that we know. But one thing he was doing well, which I saw about his captaincy, every time Waneri was doing good things, he would go over to Waneri, give him a high five, and then carry on. Or tell Waneri what to do. They'll do their thing. If Waneri made a mistake, he'll go back over to him and give him a little, you know what I'm saying, a little spot or whatever. So he kept doing that throughout the game. I kept seeing him doing that. I'm like, okay, you're a real captain. You know what I'm saying? There's little things that we don't really see. And sometimes when the games, well, watching on TV, the cameras pan somewhere else. They're things that you probably wouldn't really see if you're not watching it live in the flesh. So Odegaard gets a I mean, is that really about his ability on the pitch? It's not really about his ability on the pitch, is it? But Odegaard gets I'm going to give him a 6/7. I'm going to give him a 6. Give Odegaard a 6, man. He wasn't his brilliant self. Just under par. Waneri, yeah, he gets an 8. Yeah, he's a wicked player, man. Like, he's more direct. Like, in comparison to Saka, Saka's a bit more like, Saka's more of a guy that will, like, if you're in a boxing ring, he jab. He'll keep jabbing you and then he'll break you down slowly. And by the end of the thing, you don't even want to come out for the 12th round. He's jabbed you too much. Waneri's a guy who'll knock you out one punch. Like, Waneri's direct, but he gets the ball and just, it's something that we've not had for years, but I didn't even know he was that way inclined. He's super direct. He gets the ball, even his runs off the ball. Partey and Timber, amount of time they've got times to maybe hit it over the top or through ball to Waneri, and Waneri is like on the last line of defense. I see why Arteta said he can be a striker now, because he's the way he run, he's on the last line of defense all the time. Like, he's a direct player, but on the ball, he's also clever on the ball. He's quick, he's skillful, pace. Like, he can shoot. Yeah, he's wicked, man. That boy is a wicked player. Even when Saka comes back, I want him. Whenever he left, Saka right. I don't care. Like, we'll create our own kudos with him. Big man thing. Like, whenever he's a wicked player, man. He gets an 8 today. 17 years old. Wicked player, man. You forget got some serious youngsters coming through, man. Martinelli, he was all right today. He was a bit chaotic at the beginning, though, man. I was getting a bit irritated with him but his chaos was a bit okay more today, because he's like doing bare chaos. But then it's like, one bit of chaos that he done. He crossed the ball. It was like, oh, it was a dangerous cross, but it was. I didn't want him to do that at the time. But then when he did it, I'm like, oh, I wish somebody had gambled. Do you know what I'm saying? So then he scored as well. And he scored at a crucial time that was to make it 3-1. It was straight after the second goal, after Marino put us 2-1 up. So yeah, man. Another thing that I didn't mention was Waneri's crosses. Waneri had from the corners. Normally we have Saka crossing. Waneri's crosses were good as well today from corners. We scored from another corner today again, and then we had a couple dangerous situations. So, but yeah, Martinelli gets a standard 7 today. He was good. He was decent. He scored as well. He was a bit more problematic, and Raya kept trying to find him on the break, and so yeah, he gets a 7. And Jesus, he gets a 7 as well. He got a couple. He scored again. Tricky, a little bit tricky player. He didn't have a brilliant game, but he scored again. Like, you're a striker, you're scoring goals, you're doing your job, innit? That's how I see it. I'm not. Everyone always talks about doing all these things outside the box. I want you in the box scoring goals. That's me personally. So he gets a 7 today. I should really give him an 8 because he scored. He done his job the most. I'm going to give him a 7. Who came on? Rice came on. Trossard came on. And Miles Lewis Skelly come on. They all get standard 6s or 7s, whatever you don't want to call standard. Standard 6s, actually. I'll call standard 6s because they just came on for Marino and Waneri and someone else, I can't remember who it was. So yeah, they get standard 6s. They just came on to see the game out. But Arteta gets an 8 today, and he gets an 8 because he played. I know we had a bug, we had a sickness bug or whatever, but he played Waneri in a position that I thought Waneri's got all the qualities that Saka kind of has. A similar player, play him there. That's what I've been saying for the last couple of games, and today he did. And I feel like Waneri has put himself in the firing line to be like, yeah, I want to play now. And Arteta's gonna have to make decisions. And against Brighton, I expect Waneri to be playing on the right again. It keeps the same ticking over as we had with Saka. So yeah, Arteta gets an 8, and then he brought Rice and he brought those guys on the 70th minute, Jorginho and stuff, and we just saw the game out. So go for Brighton at the weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like, Timber's missing as well. Timber's got a yellow card, so he's not playing that game. So I think he'll probably go Partey right back and Rice in the middle. But we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, but great win today, man. Brentford away is a hard game, man. So almost an upwards.